Hello guys, it's an awesome day. I hope you're all right. I'm your host Davy. Let's start the show. It was big news this year when a Russian pilot defected with his helicopter to Ukraine. He got a $500,000 reward for it. But this isn't the first time this happened, and some pilot defector stories are even more surprising than this. So I put together 5 shocking stories for you about fighter pilots who defected to the other side. Risking their lives, they flew across enemy lines to hand over a multi-million-dollar jet, often with secret technology. With me is my sidekick Cree. Say hi, Cree.
Hello!
He's our tech guru. He takes care of the video, and the audio, and the special effects for the channel. Hey, it's too hot, Cree. So, off we go. Number 5, the defector with the Top Gun jet. You've seen the Top Gun films starring Tom Cruise. Cool movies. Besides Cruise, the star of both films is the F-14 Tomcat. And guess what? An F-14 actually defected.
What?
Yep, that's true. But it wasn't an American pilot. He was Iranian. Iran's Shah government bought F-14s way back when they were US allies in the 1970s. Later, the Islamists took over the country, and there was the embassy hostage crisis. In the 80s, Iraq invaded Iran. They fought back with the F-14s they still had, downing many Iraqi fighter jets. So Saddam Hussein wanted one bad. Through secret communications, Iraqi intelligence convinced Major Ahmed Moradi Talebi to defect across an active war zone, no less. They set the date for September 3rd, 1986. Keeping it secret as long as possible, they planned to tell Iraqi air defense that morning. But Moradi panicked and fled a day early. Crossing battle lines, Captain Hassan Najafi, the Iranian backseater in the Tomcat, had no clue they were defecting. Meanwhile, Iraqi radar picked him up. Unaware he was defecting, 2 MiG-23s from Bakr Air Base scrambled to intercept him. Then the 2 MiGs caught up to the Tomcat from behind and fired a missile. The explosion set the fighter on fire and they ejected. The F-14 crashed near Numania. The day-early arrival resulted in a wrecked Tomcat. But the defection wasn't a total bust for the Iraqis. Besides wreckage of a Top Gun type of jet to examine, they had an F-14 manual and a talking pilot. Moradi's family was already on vacation in Europe. He later joined them. Reports say he was shot dead in Switzerland the next year. The unwilling backseater chose to be a prisoner of war. He was returned to Iran in 1990. The Tomcat was a heck of a jet. Check out this one, breaking the sound barrier.
Whoa!
Next, we dive into the wild tale of the super secret jet. Number 4, the secret Foxbat fighter. Russian pilot Viktor Belenko grew up under communism, but he had an independent mind. The more he read about freedom in the West, the more he wanted to go live there. He kept these thoughts quiet when he joined the Soviet Air Force, and he rose to become an elite, hotshot fighter pilot. He was posted to the remote air base of Chuguyevka, where he found conditions Spartan and remote. Viktor was assigned the MiG-25 Foxbat, the Russians' top fighter, among the world's fastest. Everything about this jet was secret, and that scared Western air forces. Viktor learned his base was within range of Japan, and he decided to trade the super-secret MiG for asylum. The stage was set for a shocking defection. In April of 1976, Viktor took off on a routine sortie then dove towards Japan. But he flew into rain, limiting his vision. Flying low to avoid radar, he had to bank hard twice to miss fishing ships. He aimed to land at the Japanese Chitose Air Base. He couldn't find it. Running out of fuel, he finally found Hakodate Civilian Airport. Arriving unannounced, on approach, he almost hit a 727 airliner, scaring the daylights out of the pilots. On landing, the runway was too short for his fast fighter. He braked hard, skidding off it into the grass. The MiG knocked down 2 poles, blew a tire, and finally stopped. He was lucky to survive. Victor surrendered to the Japanese, asking for asylum in the USA. World news was shocked at this stunning defection. The Soviets lost an intelligence bonanza, the Foxbat and Lieutenant Belenko. Obviously, they were angry and demanded both back. The Foxbat was dismantled and examined by the US military. It was later sent back to Russia in pieces in crates. Victor got asylum. He became a US citizen and consultant. He married, had kids. He died this year in Illinois at age 76. Number 3. Know the pilot celebrity. North Korea has strict communism, and their people know little about the outside world. No Kum Sok learned differently. As a boy, his baseball-loving father and Christian mother taught him that America was a good place, with freedom and opportunity. This was far from the oppression and poverty they endured. He knew he'd try to escape there someday. In his teens, he became a cadet to get free college, and he qualified for pilot training. He trained to fly in Russia and China, learning to fly a top-of-the-line MiG-15 during the Korean War. All the while, he faked communist loyalty. His father died of an illness, and his mother fled to South Korea, so he longed to leave too. After the war ended, he was based closer to the DMZ, and he saw his chance. During a patrol, he turned his MiG to South Korea, climbed high with full thrust, then dived towards Kimpo Airport at close to Mach 1. Lucky for him, American radar was down for maintenance that day, so he wasn't attacked. But he approached to land in the wrong direction, with an F-86 Sabre coming straight at him. Lucky again, he barely missed him on landing. It was chaos on arrival, but he'd made it. Unknown to know, a $100,000 reward awaited any North Korean pilot that defected with a MiG. He defected for freedom, not money, but he still got the reward. And he delivered an intelligence coup. This was the first intact Soviet-made fighter jet that the US got their hands on. One pilot that tested it out later was none other than Chuck Yeager. An offer to return the MiG was ignored, and the aircraft is on display today in an Ohio Air Force museum. As for No, he changed his name to Kenneth Rowe. He appeared on a sort of reality show game show on TV called To Tell the Truth. He was a celebrity. He even met Vice President Nixon. He got a degree and his mother joined him. Like Belenko, he became a US citizen and consultant. He married, had kids. Later, he became a professor at an aeronautical university in Daytona. He died last year, age 90. Now there's a guy who led a full life in 2 different worlds. While you're watching, please subscribe and click on notifications too. The more subscribers I accrue, the better my vids will be for you. This next pilot defected not from the communists, but to them, with a US-built fighter jet too. Number 2, flying to flip sides. Vietnam, April 1975. The war is almost over. With the Communist Army closing on Saigon, the South Vietnamese Air Force is launching attacks to push them back. With the end near, South Vietnamese pilot and spy Nguyen Tan Trung decided to change sides. On April 8th, he took off in the Mekong Delta and headed north. But he wasn't just going to defect. First, he flew for Saigon, and shockingly, he bombed Independence Palace. He aimed to kill Thieu, the country's president, but he only damaged the strongly built palace roof. Then, he fled to the North Vietnamese-held airfield in Phuoc Long, welcomed as a hero. But there was a cost to him. Nguyen didn't tell his wife and kids he was defecting.
What?
They were arrested that same day. The F-5 was not America's best fighter jet then, so it wasn't a big intelligence prize. Since he missed the president, it was more of a propaganda win. But he wasn't done yet. The communists had captured some US-built A-37 jets from the South Vietnamese base at Da Nang. So Nguyen gave brief training on them to North Vietnamese pilots. Soon after, they flew 5 of the captured jets and attacked Saigon's Tan Son Nhut airport, destroying several planes. The South surrendered 2 days later. After his wife and kids got out of jail, I bet he had lots of explaining to do. After the war, Nguyen trained military pilots. Later, he joined Vietnam Airlines as a civilian pilot. With the war long over and trade restored with the USA, Vietnam Airlines recently bought some Boeing 777s. And guess who was sent to America to learn how to fly them? They could have picked someone else, but they sent Nguyen.
Really?
That's some chutzpah. I gotta be honest, I'm not married, but if I was, I could never leave behind a family and flee to another country like some of these guys did. That leads us to the most amazing defector story of all. Number 1, the 2-time hero. Of all pilot defectors, this was the gutsiest. In 1991, veteran pilot Major Orestes Lorenzo Perez took off on a training mission in Cuba. He defected with his MiG-23 to the U.S. Naval Air Station in Key West, only 90 miles from Cuba. This was another surprise defection. He landed unannounced, shocking both the American and Cuban militaries. This MiG wasn't the top Soviet jet then, so the U.S. later allowed its return to Cuba. But his freedom story didn't end there. After asking for asylum, Lorenzo started a public campaign to allow his wife Victoria and their 2 kids to join him in the States. Even President Bush asked the Cubans to release them. But Fidel Castro was furious at the public defection, and he refused. So Lorenzo came up with another plan with a plane, and this was more daring than his first. With money from a foundation, he borrowed an old twin-engine Cessna 310. In 1992, Lorenzo took off from Marathon Key and headed back to Cuba. If caught, he'd face execution. His wife had been told he was coming, and she was waiting with their sons near Veradero Beach. They wore orange shirts so he could see them all from the air. Lorenzo descended, spotted his family, and landed on a highway. As Lorenzo was landing, he saw traffic and feared a crash.
Uh-oh.
He missed a bus and a traffic sign. Then he almost hit a truck, stopping just 10 yards away with the shocked driver staring back at him. But he'd landed.
Run, run! It's Daddy!
They ran, climbed into the plane. With no time to lose, Lorenzo almost tried to shut the door and take off at the same time. But he managed, took off, and headed north. MiGs might scramble to intercept them, but none did. He landed back in the Keys, and the media went nuts. Lorenzo had done it, and even he couldn't believe it. He'd boldly rescued his family, making him the biggest hero of all these pilots. Wow. Being a fighter pilot is dangerous work, and these defectors went further. It took guts and conviction to do what they did. Were they traitors or heroes? You decide. Here's one more jet for you. breaking the sound barrier.
Wow.
Before you go, there are links to movies and stuff in the description you may like. So please support the channel and check them out. Thanks for watching. I wish you a great day ahead. Say goodbye, Cree.
Bye.
Ciao for now.